Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. It's just that easy.
It's just that easy.
I don't sound like you when I say bada bing, bada boom.
It still sounds good though.
Yeah, okay.
G'day viewers and listeners, it's Ed Fox and Lisa Smith with the Bada Bing Bada Boom podcast. Bada Bing Bada Boom.
It's just that easy, but it's going to be even easier today because Mital is with us.
Yay, yes, and we haven't done one of these for a while. We've been super busy with building our trade bank businesses. And Mital, great to have you on the show. Lisa, why don't you start with the first questions? I'm a little bit out of practice.
So I met Mital when we were both in BNI. I recognized her right away as an amazing networker, but I would love for her to share with our audience what she does. Like, her whole life just amazed me, that all the things that she can accomplish and all the things that she can do. So let's start with that. Besides being an outstanding trade bank member, and you can tell everybody what you do in trade bank, what else do you do in this life?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on this podcast. It's great to be part of it, and it's my pleasure to be here. So my name is Mital Modi. I am from the great, amazing Rocket City of Huntsville, Alabama. And of course, you know, it is the Rocket City. Too many rocket scientists run around. So by profession, fully, I am an engineer and a rocket scientist. I actually work in the project management field at the Missile Defense Agency. Wow. And so I have a full-time job there, which I absolutely love. I am also in the US Navy Reserves as well as a intelligence officer. So those are a great full-time careers that I have. But outside of that, of course, I also own my business, and I have been an entrepreneur for about a decade, a little over a decade now. And just focus has been, career is great, but you know, what else can I do outside to build something of my own? And so, you know, my journey was pretty quick, pretty simple, that nowhere in my life working many years, being in school for many years, anyone has walked up to me and said, hey, what if your job wasn't there? What would you fall back on? And that question I took really seriously, and started researching and seeing what is out there where I can, you know, put my focus in something that I would truly enjoy doing, which could also help me in earning extra money as well. And that's how I landed into world of helping individuals find organic lifestyle, you know, whether you are taking vitamins, you're taking supplements, whether you want to lose some weight, start to eat healthy, take care of your skin, take care of your home, drink cleaner water, breathe cleaner air, you know, you name it. So found a company that actually worked with exactly what I wanted to do, which was to add value to people, help people with products and services that they may or may not want to go out and buy. I just became their personal, I like to call it, I'm their personal shopper. And that's where I started my journey of owning a business and just doing that on side of my full-time career. And here we are, a few years later.
That's awesome. And so some of your products that you recommend, is that you have a Neutralite line of vitamins and supplements?
Yes, I do. Neutralite, actually, just a quick story of Neutralite, which is what I loved personally. It is a little over 85 years young company, and the very first company that came up with the concept of vitamins and supplementation. And I absolutely love it. Since day one, they have been certified organic farmed company, where from seed to the supplement, everything is traced. So you know exactly what goes in the supplements you take. It is quality controlled. And what I loved is that I didn't have to second guess what I was taking. Now, I am one of those people who will not recommend products to someone unless I myself take it. So when I first heard of it and started taking it, I started with weight loss, a program that they had. And right away, within first 3 or 4 months, I actually had lost 18 pounds just doing their clean organic eating and supplementation. And since people saw the difference in me, they started asking questions. So it became easy from, you know, wanting to start bettering my life into helping others just through example. And that's what got me interested in just going out and venturing out to expand my business a bit more.
Wow. So tell us, how did you end up getting connected with Lisa and Trade Bank of Huntsville?
Actually, we found each other at one of the BNI events, if I'm not mistaken, actually even before BNI, because Lisa's the one who introduced me to come to BNI events, but we connected at one of the local networking events and talked about what I did. And right away, Lisa's a great networker. She's like, hey, have you heard of BNI? And I'm like, no. And so we became BNI. Of course, we were in BNI together for a little bit. And then when I left BNI, as I was mentioning, I'm in the military. I do a lot of deployments. I went away for a few years, just doing the service. When I came back, reconnected back on social media, that's how I got connected to Lisa again when she found me on social media, on Facebook, and said, hey, you're still around. Are you still in business? And I said, sure am. And that's how she connected me to Trade Bank.
Awesome. So, Lisa, I feel like I'm hogging the conversation here. You got a question?
Yeah, but I will say this about Mital. She is like one of the most genuine people I've met. She meets people so easily, and anytime they have an issue or a problem, she starts to solve it. And I think that's what kind of connected us in the very beginning. We've had some of our Trade Bank members that were looking for that natural organic supplementation, and she's worked with them so well. And down to a member here recently who runs a nail salon, and you even introduced her to the concept of, hey, why don't you clean the air in your salon for your clients? So it's so easy to work with you. And I love your giving spirit. Where was it that you decided you had enough time to do all these things? I mean, you manage a pretty big team in Amway.
I do, yes. Absolutely. So, I believe, and it's part of our business doesn't come with just good products and services. It comes with an entire line of coaching and a mentorship program with, I'm part of a Brit organization. And so we have an entire university, we call it, that teach you step by step, not how to just be a good salesperson when you own a business. You can have great products, but the biggest thing I've learned, especially me being an engineer, being a rocket scientist, I don't know how to sell a product. So you need somebody who holds your hand and actually walks you through becoming an entrepreneur, which is a mindset that you create. And so being so busy, what I learned was that we have to have time blocking on our schedule. And so if it's on my calendar, it gets done. And if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't get done. So where do I find time? How do I manage it? Is, pretty simple. I have my time blocked. My calendar is always booked, but I like to keep it that way. I will schedule, I take out time to be on social media just to network. I take out time to be doing podcasts or even meet Trade Bank members or just doing other networking events that I need to do just to grow my business. But as I said, if we don't prioritize our own business, then we won't make it happen. And so a lot of people have other things that they do outside of just business as well, family, kids. I don't have any of that, at this point, kids or anything like that. But what I do is that I utilize the time that I have on my calendar. Once a week, I'll sit down, normally it's Sundays, and I just go through Monday through Saturday. Figure out when do I need to do business events? When do I need to fill in time for my personal workout sessions, things like that? And then I work around my schedule. So that way each time is utilized productively. Where, we always say it's the social media age right now. Everyone's on social media. And if we're not intentional about how we utilize social media, we're going to sit there wasting our times. So what I do on social media as well, I time block my social media time. 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 30 minutes here, but they're intentional of networking, doing follow-ups, or 10 minutes of just, I want to scroll through people's pages and see what's happening and what's happening around town and where can I go network next, right?
I think
so. We all need that, but it needs to be time blocked.
You grasped a hold of Trade Bank and the concept so fast, so much faster than most people. I mean, you figured out a couple of conversations and you already had trade in your account. We talked a little bit and you had a plan for how you spend it. Some days I want to just get you in front of all my Trade Bank members and go, see, Mital, that's how it works. That's how it works.
So what attracted you to Trade Bank, or what thought process did you go through to say, as a business owner, being a member of the Trade Bank Network makes good sense to me. What did you go through?
To me, it's very simple. It's common sense, right? I think I was listening to one of the examples you just gave, and I'm going to use that example. It's trading a hot dog for a bottle of water. If I have a hot dog stand and I'm eating that hot dog, I'm going to need something to drink. If there is somebody who has something to drink to offer, why would I take cash out of my pocket when I can say, hey, I will trade you my product for your product? And I keep the money in my pocket. So, as I love the slogan, right? Cash is king, but when you barter, it is very smart, right? It's smart to do that. And what really attracted me was that fact that I knew I do go out and eat. I get my nails done. I do need business services. I have a couple of homes, so I need cleaning services, pest control. I need all kinds of services, which I will be spending money on. Now, I have products that I know people will need and utilize.
Yeah.
So it makes very simple. It made quick sense to me when I heard it. I was like, well, this is a no-brainer. Why would I take money out of my pocket where I can just trade the services? It's too easy to do.
And that's a great point. So some people think there's a catch, and there's no catch. I've had people say to me, Edward, it sounds too good to be true. And they forget that they're leveraging their cost of product for somebody else's retail price, right? That's the benefit, right, is that leverage we get. And people that didn't grow up in the barter age, they think that everything can be solved with a credit card or a check, right? And if we can go back to bartering what we have to get what we want, we can save thousands of dollars every year. And that's what Lisa and I are trying to share with people. Look, if you listen to this in the part of the country that Trade Bank isn't available, then you can't get in Trade Bank. But what you can do is there's probably somebody in town that you can barter your product or service with. Maybe there's a little boutique barter exchange in your city. So do some Googling. Google's your best friend when it comes to that.
Absolutely.
But if you're in a Trade Bank city, then you definitely need to talk to the Trade Bank owner, right? I mean, why not?
Right.
For sure. If you're not a Trade Bank city, let's call corporate and make you a Trade Bank city.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
And I think that's what I love the most about Trade Bank is that I do travel quite often. For my job, I travel for military. I even travel for business. And what I would love to start utilizing now with the pandemic is still there, of course, but we still travel. We've started to travel again, is being able to use my trade dollars when I'm out of town and I don't want to take money out of my pocket. I can just use trade dollar to go eat at restaurants. I will have to eat anyway. It's a no-brainer, right? We all have to eat to survive. Right. So that's the biggest thing that I could use. And I'm a foodie. So, when you tell me, hey, we have restaurants, hey, you sold me, I'll be there. So that's the biggest thing. But another thing that attracted me was that when it came to a point where I felt I need to take a pause from the clients. If I had a lot of, say, trade dollars money saved up and I wasn't utilizing, it was just there. And if I wanted to start taking lesser clients, even for me, when I do my weight management program and I actually do work with one-on-one with clients, coming up with programs, I could pause that, or I could say, hey, hold on. I need to take a break from taking newer clients, which is something I like, that, I always don't have to, it's not a have to, it's a must.
Right.
That it gives me the flexibility to do it the way as much as I want to, or as less as I want to.
Yeah, I agree, because I had a client come to me this week and say, how can I get more trade? I have this big project. I see you have this new member. I want to utilize their services. So how do we get me more trade dollars? So yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Absolutely. I think you're brilliant.
Just to be technical and on point, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to work this out.
Not at all.
You knew that was going to come in, Lisa. I can't not bring that up.
Yeah, I knew at some point it was going to happen, so it's okay.
Not at all.
Okay, so we can say we've got rocket scientists that understand Trade Bank's the way to go, but we've also got 9th grade dropout Aussies that left school at the end of the 9th grade that can figure it out too. So if a 9th grade dropout Aussie can figure it out and a rocket scientist can figure it out, and then Lisa, you're somewhere in between. You were like a nurse, like you were a psychiatric nurse, right? So you know all the psychiatric stuff. So if somebody that deals with crazy people like this Aussie can figure it out, there's all three of us from one gamut to the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been amazed lately. I met with several people recently, and most of them, you would call them millennials. And one of the young men looked at me and he said, well, you just need to talk to all millennials because we're going to get this.
Mhm.
We're going to get Barter.
Absolutely. I'm on the latter part of the millennial, like where the millennial age starts.
Yeah.
I barely missed it by like 2 years. So I are a millennial, and that's why when you said do this, I'm like, yeah, no brainer. I'm
And
interested.
you have ended up with clients actually all over the country, not
I
just here
did.
in Huntsville, not just here in Alabama, but you have clients. What was the furthest one we talked about before the podcast?
I think the furthest one I've had is in Nebraska, which is pretty awesome. And I love the marketplace. You know, we were having conversation earlier that I have over 800 plus products. Now, I'm not going to post, I could, but I haven't posted all of my 800 products on marketplace. But that's one of the best ways for a business who provides products and services to actually market their information. And I don't have to do
Showing your
anything
ads
but
off to a new member yesterday. This is what Mital does and puts it out on marketplace.
absolutely. It's that simple. It takes literally 30 seconds to post something on marketplace and it goes national, which is what I love, that it builds, Trade Bank itself builds the business for me without me having to do a whole lot. And that's what I need, is how can I utilize the time that I have? How can I compound the time that I already have at hand, right?
You have a favorite Trade Bank story? We just before we started recording, you talked about how quick you were able to get new business. I like that story, but if you have a story that you prefer better, I'd love to hear it.
I do, actually. So I was just thinking about that. And my favorite one has to be the recent one that happened just 2 weeks ago. I bought another new house that I moved into, and I needed someone to come in and look at my HVAC system. It was loud and making noise, and reached out to Lisa and the staff, and I said, who do we have? And she recommended, of course, Kane with comfort specialist. So yes, comfort specialist. So he came out, looked at it. And as I was mentioning, one of my products that I absolutely love, especially now with the pandemic going on and everybody wanting clean air, my air purification system was, of course, in the house. But as soon as I opened the door, he walked in and started walking through my living room. The air purification system turned on, and he's startled. He's like, what is that? So I told him, I said, well, we just opened the door and you just walked in, and the system recognized that there's not clean air anymore. And so it automatically turned on to make my house have a cleaner air. And that right away, it never hit him. So he asked me about the system, and I told him that this is something that is part of trade, and it helps you in keeping air clean, whether it's in your business or at your home. And he looked at my system, and my favorite story is this. He charged me $75 for his services, and I charged him $1,600 in return because he said, I would like one in my home. And especially, he said he cooks in the home, but he has allergies he has dogs, pets in the house, and my system cleans over 300 just airborne particles. And so just keeping it anywhere in your area, in your home, offices, you think about it. And that right away, he's like, I need that. And I said, great. You can use trade dollars 100%, or you could do a 40-50, whichever way, 40-60. And so that's what I love about it. And that became my really good favorite story now, because I didn't have to go outside of my house to actually move my product. I used a trade service where a trade business came to my own home, and I was able to talk about what I do in return. Since we're both business owners, of course, we network. And so right away, I was able to move a product just within a 5-minute conversation. And I love it.
And with him,
absolutely love it.
HVAC, you don't know who all he's going to tell at this point, because he'll get his unit in and be super happy with it. We have one sitting here in the office too.
That was my next question. Have you been in Trade Bank how long now?
I have been in Trade Bank for less than a year now. Okay. Year is coming up pretty soon. Yes.
Sorry, go ahead, Lisa.
Not too long. She'll be here almost a year.
Have you seen any referrals yet that weren't Trade Bank that came from Trade Bank members? Like cash?
Yes, actually, all of my business, I would say I have had over $6,000 or $8,000 now business just within last 10 to 11 months, and all of it is Trade Bank. I have never met any of those people, and it was all Trade Bank.
Awesome. That is great, and that's customers that you would have, like you said, you would have never have seen, business that you would have never have had, and then those customers will turn into people referred that aren't Trade Bank members, right? Have you had any of that happen yet?
Yes, I have had that also happen as well through Trade Bank, and I work my business on referral all the time. Anyone who becomes a customer, I right away ask for referrals anyways, because that's how it is. If you take products, you like products, as a good business owner, it's on us to follow up and say, hey, how do you like it? Or do you have friends or family who might also enjoy the same products? Give me referrals. In return, you give something back to them. And so it works out. It's perfect.
And it's also great. I mean, for those of us that have used legacy cleaning products and Neutralite and all the different brands under your umbrella, there's some amazing products there that people can't find on the shelves in any supermarket. So the only way they can get them is through you, which is exciting. So Lisa, we're going to have in the show notes Mital's information so that they can get a hold of her, and then they can find her in the app. What would they look up in the app to find you?
Hers is listed under Mital Worldwide.
So Mital Worldwide, if they search that on the app, they would find a business ad from her that would list how they would reach out and what products and services and have that conversation.
Yeah, or they can always call the Huntsville Trade Bank office and talk to Tammy or I.
Awesome. Any other questions you've got, Lisa, or suggestions?
No, just to thank you. I appreciate your time today, Mital. That was very kind. I know you're super busy and you have all kinds of things going on all the time, but just just taking out a few minutes to share your story means a lot. I appreciate it.
I have one last question. Sorry, Mital. I have one last question. If you were talking to somebody right now, like if I said to you, like, I've heard of this Lisa person and this Trade Bank, jigger bob, like and I heard you're involved, what's the deal? What would you have to say to somebody maybe looking at maybe becoming part of the Trade Bank network? Or maybe they're a part, but they don't really know anything. So what would you say to a person looking at Trade Bank?
The biggest thing I will say when it comes to looking at a business or growing your network is get on somebody's calendar. Like a lot of times what happens is we have questions, but we feel we don't want to get them answered, or we always feel, oh, what will somebody say if I go talk to someone about a business or a product? And the biggest thing I teach people is this: if you have a question about Trade Bank, find the owner, find the right person to go talk to, get on their calendar. And if they don't want to, one thing I like to do, I'm a networker as well. Hey, let's do a three-way conversation, or how about we just go for a lunch or coffee? And the three of us can sit down. I will introduce you to the right person who can give you the right information that you need to grow your business. And that's what I would recommend is, if people have questions, people don't know about Trade Bank, is just connect. When we connect and communicate, we can get the questions answered.
That's a great point. Okay.
She's not kidding. She sent me a text the other day. A friend of hers, a business owner that she'd already talked to, we reached out to her, and guess what? Mital, she's on my calendar.
Great. And so if they didn't want to do that, if they didn't want to connect on the calendar and they just said to you, yeah, but what do you think about it? What do you think about it? What would you say to them? What would be your recommendation that they know about Trade Bank?
Yeah, my biggest recommendation would be to just go for it, right? Like my recommendation from my experience, I would give my testimony that me not having to attend extra meetings, me not having to go, sit in conference rooms, me not having to go to networking events, without even having to do that, in less than a year, my business grew by $8,000 just in sales with people I didn't even know. So it worked for me, and it can work for you as well as a business owner. So if I were you, I would get the information and just sign up to be a member. That's what I would actually recommend somebody.
That would be my recommendation from a rocket scientist.
Yeah. That's great. Hey, and Lisa, over your shoulder, for those of us that are watching this on the video, Alice had a 70-year-old bear. Yeah, Teddy.
It'll be the only show I probably get to record with Teddy.
There you go. That's right, because we're going to come get him and take him to his home. So he was in sad shape.
Oh, but not anymore. Look at that bear.
That's amazing. So that was a trade bank member. What's the name of the business?
Oh, well, we teasingly call her Doc McStuffins, but she is the Stuffed Animal Clinic of Madison. She does spa days for any of your animals, old, new. This bear is how old, Edward?
70 years old.
70 years old. And he looks amazing now. She said he was actually very well constructed and pretty easy to clean up and put back together. So his spa day was really great for him. But she also makes memory bears. If you have a loved one with, clothing or a blanket that you want turned into a memory bear, she does those too.
Oh, wow.
But isn't Teddy cute?
It's awesome. So yeah, we're excited to come down there. Alice is working this weekend, maybe next weekend after that. Hey, thanks for being on the show. We really.
Blue eyes.
Sorry, Lisa. Sorry, I have a.
I'll take good care of him and his pretty blue eyes looking at me.
Cool. Appreciate it. Hey, Mital, it was great to meet you, and I wish you all the success in your business. And if you ever want to chat, because I think we do good on my business podcast where you could teach people about how to start a business.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be my pleasure. Thank you for having me on this podcast as well. Thank you, Lisa and Edward. Appreciate it.
Thank you. See you soon.
G'day again. Well, that's it for this episode of the Barter Bing Barter Boom podcast with your hosts, Lisa Smith and Ed Fox. Be sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform and like us on YouTube and Facebook as well. Hey, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Have a great day.